So I know that you have put a lot of time and effort into your website, from getting that copy just right to the imagery placed where it needs to be, etc. But maybe you just are not hitting the outcomes and the goals that you want or need to find success with this website. This is really the amazing thing about what we're talking about today, which is conversion rate optimization. It's all about finding those little tweaks that can lead to huge changes. So today we are jumping straight into some common conversion rate hangups, the 6-second rule, copywriting, engagement, calls to action, lead magnets, and retargeting so that you can start improving your conversion rate today. My name is Trent Kennelly. I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel, I talk about all the things that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment and let me know what your conversion rate's like right now, what things you think are really hanging you up, or what you really want your conversion rate to be. Any of those things, I would love to know more about your conversion rate. But until then, let's get started. So first, let's talk about the 6-second rule. So visitors to your website are gonna decide to stay or leave your website in the first 6 seconds. It happens like this. The first impression of that page is the most critical moment for a new visitor, which means that there are two things that you need to look at here: page speed and the header section. All right, so page speed. Those 6 seconds include the load time of the page. It's from the moment that they click to go to your page, that 6-second timer starts. So every moment that's wasted on getting content to load is a moment that they're not actually engaging with your site. So here's a really good example. I'm gonna load a page that takes too long to load, and I'm gonna be silent for a minute. Ready? Here we go. Now, didn't that feel like an eternity? Please do not make visitors wait this long. It's awful. It's really easy to ID these problems and fix them. All you have to do is go to gtmetrics.com, put in your website, and it's gonna tell you exactly what to fix. Also, if you want more details on how to fix that stuff, you can check out this video. Then as to the header section, this is the first thing that they're gonna see. So no matter whether this is a landing page or the home page, the header section is the first part of the page that the person loads onto in the vast majority of situations. So this header section is typically made up of 3 to 4 different elements. There's an image or video background of your product or service, or you engaging with it or something like that. There's also a headline. There's possibly a subheadline if you want to explain a little bit more, and there's a button so they know what to do next. Your goal with the header is to catch their attention, tell them why they should care, and tell them what action they should take next very quickly and easily. You have to do this in a few sentences with a little bit of visuals, okay? Now, of course, there's no guarantee that they're gonna click on it at this point. That's why there's other sections of the page, but anybody that you can maximize going to this part, clicking and moving to the next, is the least amount of time that they're gonna have to spend on another part of the page, which increases your likelihood of actually getting them to buy if they're looking to move quickly through a funnel. Next, compelling copy. So your goal with the text on the page is to make people understand why they should care about you. You can check out this video for a real deep dive into the text on your web pages and how copywriting should work. But here's the general flow of the copy. First is the header section. As we already described, there's a headline and sometimes a subheadline that gives a really quick overview of the most important points about your offering and gives them a little sense of why they should care about you. After the header section comes a more fully explained section where it just kind of gives more of an idea behind what your concept is, what your offering is, whatever, and then come the details. So after that generalized explanation section, you want to tell them what specific features that they should care about, what benefits those features provide for them. Benefits are always better than features. All that sort of stuff is really important in these sections. Testimonials should appear after that, just to add a little bit of social proof, a little bit of the reader seeing, oh, this person's come before me, they were successful, I want to be successful too, so I'm going to go with this person who's trying to sell me, okay? So it'll say like Joe Smith and Joe Smith's company name and a picture of Joe Smith, and then, oh my gosh, this product was so great, it helped me so much, whatever, a natural sounding quote, okay? After those testimonials, you wanna have a final pitch. So this is an area where just a final, hey, you should buy from us. Here are the reasons why you wanna buy from us. Click this button to buy from us, okay? Now, after all of that flow, that's the very general flow, we also wanna consider how we are writing. So we either wanna write from a pain or a pleasure perspective. So when you're talking from a pain perspective, you're trying to take people away from a pain point in their life. When you are talking from a pleasure perspective, you're trying to draw people toward a pleasure in their life, okay? That's all there really is to it. But it's important that you approach your writing from one of these two angles, just depending on which one your audience responds most strongly to. Next, let's keep them engaged. So it's very important to keep a reader engaged throughout the page. If they aren't engaged, they aren't interested in taking action, and they're probably just gonna leave the site, okay? So how do you keep your readers engaged? The basic answer is fourfold: images, colors, good copy, see above, we just discussed that, and shifting copy. Humans really need that visual aspect to feel more engaged in what they're reading. As much as we love a good story, we most of the time need something visual to help us keep the mind going and engaged in what we're reading. So, for example, are you more likely to read this or this? You're more likely to read this because the text is shorter and the images inform the text. You're also more likely to read this than this because here the colors are more consistent, less overwhelming, and accent certain things like buttons that can be clicked on. At a minimum, you should be changing at least where your images, text, and buttons are throughout the page so that it's easier to read and more visually appealing as people are moving down that page. Next, calls to action or buttons. So in the same way that engagement is really important, so is enticing that user to take the next step. If they don't know where to go or what to do, they're just gonna get annoyed and leave your site, and they're not probably ever gonna come back. The name of the game here is to get them to sign up or buy from you as soon as possible. And because we designed the page to go more general to more specific, they're gonna get more and more comfortable with your offering and who you are as you move down the page. So you wanna have that button right in front of them at all times so that whenever they're ready, they can just click it. Now you might say, oh, well, I can just put a button up in the menu and be done with it, and I don't have to worry about all these buttons being everywhere. Absolutely not. You should watch this video on banner blindness to understand eye tracking a little bit better, because they're not looking at the menu most of the time. They're looking in the center of the page and they're skipping around the page all over the place, okay? So you cannot expect that just because you put a button in the menu, they're even going to see it. You need to have it present and in front of them at all times. Next, checkout page optimization. Yes, checkout pages need to be optimized too. Sometimes checkout is just a long process. You might have to enter lots of information about yourself and your credit card information and your location and all that sort of stuff, which could raise a lot of problems. The first problem being that people get exhausted filling out forms online, and their desire to not be filling out this form could outweigh their desire for your offer, and then they move on. The second problem could be that while you're asking for all this personal information like credit card and location, the trust could start to go away. They might not feel like they have enough of a bond with you or your product or your service that they fully trust what you're offering, and so they're gonna move on if they don't trust you. That is one of the biggest reasons that people leave sites and don't buy. It's because they don't trust you. Lucky for you, both of these problems are pretty easy to solve. First, let's go ahead and use verified payment processors. If you're using a platform like Shopify, there's really not gonna be any concern with this because they've got checkout baked in, they've got the Stripe and PayPal and Apple Pay setups already baked into the system, so you don't have to put any extra effort into this. If you're on WordPress, then you can look at a service like WooCommerce, and it's basically the same thing. The checkout is baked in. You can select which services you want to activate, etc. And by using a service that the buyer recognizes, even on some instinctive level, they're going to put more trust in your company right away, okay? It's kind of like a trust transfer. They trust Shopify, they trust Stripe, they trust PayPal, and as a result of that, they have a little more trust for you because they know that that payment processor will back them up if you don't, okay? Not to mention that a lot of systems like PayPal and Apple Pay are gonna store that data for the user so it transfers between systems and they don't have to put any extra effort in to make that switch happen and to make that payment occur. So it just makes things a little bit easier for them to input their information. Second, we should add some trust badges and testimonials, verifications, all that sort of stuff on your checkout page. When they're on the checkout page, they're hesitating. They're not totally sure if they're gonna make this purchase or not for the most part. And by putting those money back guarantee badges and having those policies in place, and by putting that verified badge from the Better Business Bureau or something else on your page, on that checkout page, it just increases the comfort level that people feel like they're not gonna be screwed over, like they're gonna try something and if it doesn't work, they'll get their money back, no big deal. And if you add testimonials, you're gonna see a lot more success as well because people are gonna see, once again, oh, people came before me, they were successful, they didn't get screwed, so I'm gonna go ahead and pay as well. Next, lead magnets. So lead magnets are really important because let's be honest, not everybody who visits your site is going to buy from you. But still a large number of people might come back to buy if you can entice them to do so. So you need to provide a way to get their contact information so that you can follow up with them after they leave your site. And this is where lead magnets really come in, because a lead magnet is a free guide or tool or resource, something like that, that people can download in exchange for their email address. Now, once they get that magnet, what they're seeing is all of the knowledge that you have to give them for free. So you're already selling them through the magnet, but now you also have their email address, so you can send them emails, so you can retarget them on Google, you can retarget them on Facebook, etc. So it's really valuable to have that lead magnet so that those people who leave without purchasing can possibly come back later and make a purchase and keep you top of mind in the meantime. So there are two main ways to use that lead magnet information that you get, the contact information. There's email and retargeting ads. So we'll get to retargeting in just a minute. Let's stick to email here for a second because retargeting is the last big section that I want to talk about. Anybody who signs up for your lead magnet and then goes through your double opt-in is showing affirmative interest in your product or service, which means that they're a hot lead. So you should be emailing them at least once a day for the few days after they signed up for the lead magnet, and then tapering off to maybe once a week or maybe a little bit longer as they're showing less interest so that you don't get spam complaints, okay? The benefit here is that you can stay on top of mind so that if they're still considering buying, you're gonna be the first one they're thinking of. The last big point I wanna talk about is retargeting. So retargeting ads are ads that you send to people who are already familiar with you. More specifically, it's typically people that have visited your site before, but you can even get really granular here. It can be people who have visited your site, people who have visited a specific page. One of the more interesting ones is people who have visited your checkout page and then left without buying anything. That's referred to as an abandoned cart, okay? So you can target specifically people who abandon the cart and say, hey, come back and buy from us after they've left your website using retargeting paid ads through Facebook or Google. There's a little bit of a technical setup for this. It really isn't super complicated though. Facebook, Google, whatever ad platform that you're working with is gonna give you a little bit of code called a pixel. You just need to set up that code to track the users that are going through your site. And then when the platform identifies that a user has visited, they're gonna start delivering that retargeting ad and not any cold traffic ads that you might have going right now. You can do this exact same thing for abandoned carts. You just need to change the event in your settings that's being monitored for this ad to went to the checkout page and abandoned it. So there you go, guys. Implement these points and I promise you, you're gonna see an improvement in your conversion rate. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I would love to know what your conversion rate is right now, what your conversion rate goal is, if it's realistic or whatever. Just pop that in the comments. I would love to talk to you about it. Otherwise, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I will catch you in the next one.